Hello, 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 and welcome once again to another training session of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, brought to you by the Letter Tape. This is going to be a rather simple tutorial. It's just on water rides, and the reason I'm giving a tutorial on this, which here's rides, up here this blue thing, water rides, you've got all these here. They're all basically the same, except for the mini sub. And the reason I'm doing a tutorial on this is that you may be possibly limiting yourself with how you're using these, if you're using them at all. And so I just wanted to point out a few things you may or may not know about this. So let's go ahead and start one here. I'm just going to do bumper boat. You start out with the same type of piece that you would normally, just a station piece. So I'm rotating it with Z. And then I'm going to build one station, and I'm going to build a few more, just because you may know by now, here at Vehicle, as you may know, you can increase the number of cars, or in this case bumper boats, if you have a longer station length or you have more stations in the ride. But at this point, now you've got these options of straight, track, curve. So if I do a curve here, you've got these little floating bobbles. You may think that you've got to make like a track out of those. So if I go like this and just keep making some type of a track here and click through this real quick and then complete it, you may think that's what you have to do, because that's when you get this little icon here for an entrance and one for an exit. So if I go ahead and open this ride, speed up time a bit so that some peeps get on it, and now you can see they're following that path there, which, if that's what you want to do, that's great, but it doesn't look all that great with all these little floats out here in the water. There's something else you can do. You do not have to do it this way, and I'll also show you something later on how to improve the looks of this. But you know what, since we're here, I'll just go ahead and show you that now. Let's say you do build something like this. You want these little boats to travel on a specific path, but you just don't want all of these floaty bobbies. Here's what you do. View controls. These are the default ones that are enabled. Hopefully you've gone in here and you've experimented with some of these things. The height of the ride, that will be helpful if you're making coasters and pieces don't match up right. Path height. It's just very useful stuff, terrain height. But anyway, what we're going to look at is toggle scenery and rides. So pay attention to these floating bubbles, the station, and the entrance and exit, because I'm going to deselect this. And now they're all clear. So now what you have is you've got a body of water with a boat traveling on a specific path, but you're not obstructed with all that other stuff. So there may be points in your recording a video of your park that you'll want this. It's kind of up to you. So now let's show you the alternative way to do this that will open things up quite a bit more for you. And we'll go back to rides, water rides. We'll do the same thing, bumper boat. So there's a few stations, add a few more cars, or in this case boats. That's all you need. Well, that's all you need for the ride portion. If you just wanted to add a little bobble thing at the end and a little curve just for looks, you could. You could do the same at this end if you want to. A little bobble thing, a little curve, just to make it look nicer, you can. But at this point you might be thinking, well, so what? I still can't open the ride because it says it has no entrance, and it's not giving you an entrance and an exit. Remember, you can always add an entrance and an exit basically whenever you want to a station. You can add it to transport rides, which you saw if you watched that tutorial. You click on details, and now here's where you have the options of doing several different things, choosing a fence, whether there's a sign overhead or not. This is where you can watch the ride in process. But anyway, so here we go. Here's an entrance. Boom, there's an entrance. And then we could change what type of gate there is for it. Go back again, and an exit. Boom, there's an exit. guess what? We can now open the ride. So the difference here is going to be, and we're going to have to watch it in the dark unless I make the sun rise. Sun rise. And there you go, there's sun. Also the boats are different. Yeah, so I didn't really make the sun rise, I just advanced time. This gives you an illustration of the free movement within a body of water. Another example of that would be back in this larger body of water. You see there are plenty of jet skis going around, whereas these other rides are all contained with the little bobble things. So these jet skis are coming from these two areas here. And these are just two different examples of how you could lay this out. These station pieces can be pretty much anywhere. They could be out in the middle of the water with decking to get to them, or they could be along the edge here. Whatever suits your needs with these kind of rides. The only other thing I wanted to comment on is this submarine ride. It's kind of the only one that's different within these water rides. All these rides function the same way, even the windsurfer, but this little submarine ride can give you some trouble. For instance, I had a very basic one that I laid out here for just the illustration of how it should look when it's working. So if I click on the entrance and I see it's closed and I want to open it, ooh, one station is not long enough. Okay, that's fine. Let me just go into construction here and I will... it's not letting me select any of the pieces of this ride, and I can't build anything. Now what? You may think, oh, great. Now I gotta delete the whole thing and start over. Which you can, if it's a simple enough ride. Or, what you do is you go back to construction, and you'll notice there's one thing that isn't grayed out. Right here, demolish current item. So I click on there, and I could delete that item. Now, let's see, let's test something here. I'm going to try to select this station. Now, demolish current item. There we go. So, something of interest here is that it doesn't highlight. You don't see the item that you have selected, but it is selected. So, I'm going to select this curved piece right here. It doesn't look like it's selected. It's not showing up here. I'm going to click on demolish current, and there I go. That piece is now demolished. Unless I build it, and now it's taking me back over here where I demolished a station. So I'm going to build another station, and at this point I just want to demolish backwards because I want to get to just before that station. Now I'll build my third station piece. Now I can make a curve, another curve, and now I should have 3 stations. I can replace that exit that was deleted, and now I can open the ride. So this is the only one that I'm aware of that's like this submarine, that can't select the pieces, or rather you can select them but you don't know you have selected them. So if you need to modify a submarine ride, just remember that when it's closed and you're in construction, it doesn't look like you're clicking on a piece, but if this is where I want to make the change, I'm going to click here, delete that piece, and now I can make the change. I can build a station here if I want to, or just a straight piece, but that's where you make the change. Another item of note related to these water rides is that once you have a body of water placed, you've carved out the terrain, you've filled it with water, you start building these rides on top of or inside of the water, you cannot change the terrain around the outside, and you cannot remove the water. So if I try to remove the water here, you notice it's not letting me do that. If I go to terrain and I try to lower this section, it's just going to lower those on the outside and really shake up the peeps a bit, but it's not going to change the edge because that is locked. So before you start placing rides and such in water, make sure you have the terrain and the water exactly how you want it before you place those rides. Otherwise you're going to be looking at recreating a lot of work to make whatever change you want to make. So like I say, this was pretty simple. All of these rides operate the same way. I just wanted to make sure you weren't limiting yourself by thinking you had to use these little baubles. There is a way that you could use those baubles to your advantage. I'll let you use your creativity for that. Thanks. Enjoy.